We're going to show you 4 different kids answering a question, and you have to decide whether they're lying or telling the truth.
Each kid is told that if they get 7 out of 10 balls in the basket, they will be given $5. But just before they start, the experimenter finds an excuse to leave the room and asks them to stand behind the line and throw the balls into the basket one at a time. So these kids are now alone in the room, so the incentive to cheat is pretty high, but little do they know, the scientists have placed a hidden camera in the room.
The question the experimenter asked when they got back was, did you cheat? And here were their answers.
Nope.
Okay.
I tried the ball once.
Could you tell which ones were telling the truth and which were lying? Try again.
Nope.
Okay.
I tried the ball once.
It turns out that kids 1 and 2 were telling the truth, and kids 3 and 4 were lying. But in fact, 80% of kids over the age of 4 will lie in this scenario. When guessing who was lying, the answer was either yes or no, so you had a 50% chance of getting it right. So even if you did guess correctly, you're actually not necessarily that good at detecting lies, and turns out no one really is. Dr. King Lee is a lying researcher. Now, he is not a researcher who lies, okay? He is a researcher who studies lying.
My name is Kang Lee. I'm a professor at the University of Toronto. Once we did studies with many children, when they tell lies, they look right into your eyes, so they don't blink, you know. And so that common sense view is totally out of the way right away.
Studies show that across multiple professions like judges, social workers, or police officers, people who you would expect are good at detecting lies, turns out they aren't. Okay, so we are here at Kang Lee's developmental lab, and I'm with Sarah, who's gonna help us with one of the technologies that can detect emotions and lying. So what are we gonna do?
We are going to use Facet, which is behind me. We had already recorded you making some interesting facial expressions.
I tried to make different emotions. Okay, so what are we looking at? We have my face and a bunch of bars, graphs. What do they mean?
So each of these different colors is a different emotion. So right now we're looking at joy, there's anger, surprise, fear, and contempt. You look right about here. It looks like you're about to experience a little bit of disgust. Yeah, that's very clearly disgust.
I believe I was asked about eating toenails. So.
Yeah.
So how do you do this with kids and in like a more experimental environment?
Yeah, so there's kind of 2 options you can use this technology with. One is you can get a person to sit down and watch and record them with a webcam. You can put some stimuli on the screen, see how they react to it, but that really doesn't help us out with lying. Instead, we want to see how do kids or even adults lie in the real world. So we put them into real situations where they're lying to us or telling the truth, and we secretly record their faces. And later on, we can take that video,
plug it into this.
Plug it in there,
So
and we
cool.
can use that.
But what happens if someone lies with a neutral face? I mean, it's not that hard. Like, watch this. I, in fact, did not steal the pogs of Michael Stern, the coolest kid in my class in grade 7.
Even parents cannot assess accurately when their own kids are lying. But thankfully, science is here to help us out.
We recently developed a new technology called transdermal optical imaging technology. So the idea basically is that you literally peel off the skin like this. Then you see the blood underneath your skin. And then you link up the frames of the videos, and then you can see the blood flow changes in different parts of the face. And by doing so, then you combine them all together and using machine learning again, and you can detect the patterns in which the child is lying versus the patterns in which the child is telling the truth. One of the major features is actually when you lie, the facial blood flow on the cheek goes down, but the blood flow on the nose goes up. So one of the studies we run, and we showed that about 85% accuracy, we can tell, the child is lying or not lying.
So blood flow to the face can help us detect if someone is lying, and hilariously, blood actually flows to your nose. Hashtag Pinocchio. But lying obviously requires your brain, so how do we study what's going on in the brain when someone's lying?
So what exactly is this even called?
This is our FNIRS machine, which is functional near infrared spectroscopy.
Ooh, okay.
FNIRS is much easier to say.
FNIRS sounds kind of cool, like a slang, like you're cool, like, oh my god, FNIRS. Or I don't know, like auto-tune. Look out, Lady Gaga and Bjork, the newest hat is here.
So the red ones is emitting the light, and then the blue one is trying to measure how much light it can receive. And depending on how much light is lost, between these two ports, we can kind of determine how much oxygen is in the blood and where the brain is most active.
But turns out there are differences in the brain. So when children are lying, we discovered that in the prefrontal cortex, it's more activated when you're lying than telling the truth. When you're lying, it takes more neural resources to do controls. And telling the truth requires very limited neural control. And we discovered that before it's kind of well organized, synchronized, and after you have told a lie, then the brain just goes haywire. So telling a lie is really not very good for your brain.
We can definitely relate to that. Whenever I lie, I always panic so much and I realize I can't hold the conversation anymore because my brain has gone like completely haywire, but I barely ever lie.
No, it's all the time, every day, all day.
It's amazing to think though that Dr. Lee's lab has been able to look at brains in real time as they lie and see the chaos that ensues when you're trying to tell a fib.
It's pretty fascinating to think about the ways in which this technology could be used. I mean, imagine in the next presidential election being able to see in real time if someone is lying or telling the truth. I mean, it's a pretty powerful thing, but it's got to be perfected first so that it's not used or abused in the wrong way.
Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to ASAP Science and let us know if there's any other labs or things happening that you want us to go on the scene to check out. We live in Toronto though, so hopefully it's there. Okay,
We can't
thank
fly
you.
for it. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.